Good morning again.
Good morning.
Oh, you are out there. Awesome. This is a live show, if you didn't know. This is what's happening now. Happening now. Well, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Beto. Actually, that's not true. My name is Adalberto, but most of you know me by Beto or Bento, if you're hungry. We had a lady coming that she thought my name was Bethel, which was an awesome name, and she called me Beth for short, so I just embraced it. If you want to call me Beth, I'll probably answer. But this week we're talking about thankfulness. Thanksgiving is coming up, and I am very excited for a very traditional dish, just like the Pilgrims used to make it. My favorite is the 7-layer nacho dip. Well, I guess I'm from Mexico. We had Thanksgiving a little bit different. But how many of you woke up this morning in your own bed? Awesome. How many of you here drove today? That's amazing. How many of you woke up with $1 million in the bank? Oh, sweet. I'll hit you up after church. Fell in my little trap there. But the passage that we're going to be taking a look at today is in Luke chapter 17. This is the passage where we're going to encounter 10 lepers. And in my Bible, the word leopard had a little asterisk, meaning that it didn't necessarily mean that they had leprosy. They just had some kind of illness. But before we turn there, I do want to say that when we get into a routine, I asked you how many of you woke up in your own bed today, and several of you raised your hand. I wonder if I asked how many of you woke up this morning and said, "Thank you that I slept in my own bed." How many hands would go up? You don't have to put them up, because I know that I woke up in my own bed, and my bed is something to take for granted. Unless you go on vacation or something like that. But usually, as we carry this life, there are several things that we just take for granted. And I was thinking about, some of you know that, it was a year and some months ago, we were living, my family and I were living at an orphanage in Mexico, which was an awesome experience. And one of the things that we began to be grateful for was going to the grocery store and then having our card approved so that we could take groceries home. That is amazing. We had to put several carts back full of groceries because our card was declined. Funds were in there, but the algorithm of the card company that we were using was flagging our transaction as fraudulent, because we were in Mexico for just a week or two. We were there for a whole year, so even though we called the bank and let them know that, the algorithm is not a person, so they think differently than we do, thank goodness. But after we had to put several carts back, or just leave them at the check stand and apologize to the checker, because the checker had to run every item through, we would enter the store, which is like, God, we're just thankful for the ability to come into the store. Thank you for everything that we can put into a cart. And then we're praying in line, Jesus, please let the cart go through. And then the checker is like, how are you? Oh, I'm great. Please, Jesus, please, Jesus. Yes. So that's something that I was remembering, because I don't know, well, after we got back, Shelly's been the one that's been doing the grocery shopping, so I don't know if you've been thankful that the card goes through, but I'm thankful that you're the one that goes to the store. Anyways, let's go to Luke 17, starting on verse 11. Now on his way to Jerusalem, Jesus traveled along the border between Samaria and Galilee. As he was going into a village, 10 men who had leprosy met him. They stood at a distance and called out in a loud voice, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." When he saw them, he said, "Go, show yourselves to the priests." And as they went, they were cleansed. One of them, when he saw that he was healed, he came back praising God in a loud voice. He threw himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him. And he was a Samaritan. Jesus asked, "Were not all 10 cleansed? Where are the other 9? Has no one returned to give praise to God except this foreigner?" Then he said to him, "Rise and go. Your faith has made you well." I read this over and over and over again, just thinking and praying, God, what are you saying through this passage? And the very first thing that popped for me was that the 10 men stood at a distance and said in a loud voice, which I don't know exactly how much the distance was, but I wonder if among the 10 it was, "Oh look, there goes Jesus. We've heard of all the miracles he's doing. I wonder if he could take care of the stuff that we got going on." But it wasn't like before in Luke chapter 8 when we had the woman that had been bleeding for several years, that she actually pressed her way through the crowd to be able to touch him. But now we have these people who are, mic switch, standing at a distance going, "Well, if we shout from here and we get healed, awesome. And if not, then I guess we didn't walk the extra steps." I mean, I don't know what was going through their mind. I don't know, maybe what pace Jesus was walking. Maybe he was walking in a really fast pace and they had to catch him and, "Jesus!" A lot of things happened through my mind. But it did make me think about my early walk with Jesus. It wasn't much of a walk at all. It was more of what I could get out of the relationship, which Shelly is the last woman I dated, but before her there was other ladies, and I wasn't the best guy in those times. And I was dating this particular person who said, "Well, if you want to be my boyfriend, we got to go to youth group and we got to learn about Jesus." And it's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go learn about Jesus. Let's go to youth group. I feel like I was standing at a distance, not really wanting to get to know Jesus, but seeing what I could get out of the relationship. So check your distance. What are you really wanting to spend time with God? Are you wanting to see what you can get out of the relationship? The 10 lepers, all 10 of them were cleansed, and it said Jesus told them to go and show themselves to the priests or the religious leaders. But I wonder if they even made it, because it says that on the way they were cleansed. So I wonder if they weren't even to where they were supposed to go, but realized they were cleansed and like, "Oh, I guess we don't have to go all the way. We're good." But all they received was physical healing, which, if you've ever been sick, and you're still here now, so either you got better or you're still struggling with it. But we know that all healing is temporary, because at some point we're gonna be with Jesus, and that's awesome. That's amazing. That's where we put our hope, that everything that we do in this life is temporary. And so I feel for these guys, because the 9 that chose not to come back, all they got was physical healing, but they missed out on the greater part of that relationship. The second thing is the power of being thankful, which is thankfulness is a key. And in my notes I wrote, literally, I don't know if you've had these days, but I have. Those days where the alarm goes off and you take a big sigh and, okay, here we go again. Same stuff, different day. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but there's been days where you get up, you take a shower, you eat breakfast, you say hi to everybody, you get in the car, you go to work, you come home, you eat dinner, and you wake up and you do it all over again, and you feel like, man, what is going on? It's just this routine. Well, what gets you out of the routine is being thankful. I have an amazing job. I get paid to go talk to people and make new friends. If you know me a little bit, you know that's that's the job for me. There's no other job out there that would be a better fit. I really enjoy going out and meeting new people. To me, strangers are just friends that I haven't met yet. Okay? And I have a beautiful wife, and she's awesome. She's amazing. She's a great mother to our kids. I have amazing kids. I can go on and on. But if I don't pay attention to everything that God's given me, if I don't spend time with Him and just fulfill and listen to what He's saying to me, it's really easy to get distracted. And so, as I said, thankfulness is the key, because to me, when that fog comes over, I picture like this big lock that keeps the fog there. Putting thankfulness is what unlocks that lock and lets the fog go away. I don't know if anybody's has given this example to you, but if I asked you what's bigger, a quarter or the sun, which one is bigger? The sun, right? S-U-N, the sun. But if you grab a quarter and you place it right here and focus on it, the sun disappears, because what we focus on gets bigger. I was listening to a video where the speaker was saying that she had just gone through a really bad tragedy where she lost two of her daughters in a car wreck, and she was thankful that they were gone instantly. It wasn't a long, drawn out where they had to be in the hospital for several days. They were just gone in a second, and she was thankful for that. She was thankful for the other kids that she had that were still alive. And as she's telling me this, and I haven't experienced that, I was really trying to think of a time where it was just, experiencing hardship in such a level like that, like losing a kid. I don't know what that's like. And she's speaking about the things that she was thankful for, and then she said this: don't lose more than what you've already have lost. So yes, you might be going through some really, really hard things, but if you switch your thinking into the things that you already have, if you just look around the things that God's providing you, if you're able to focus on that unlocks your brain and changes your focus from the problem into what God has for you. And then the last thing that this passage spoke to me is that it's very easy to look at the one person that came back and say thanks, and look at it and grab the gold star and say, good job, you were the one to give thanks. Everybody should be more like you. But I think that because Jesus asked them, where are the other 9? I think what Jesus was saying is, did you at least try to talk to the ones that were around you? I feel like all of us have a responsibility. God has done something in our lives. If you've encountered God, then you live differently, you look differently, you're just a different person because of the encounter that you've had. I think it is our responsibility that after we have that change, that we look at those that are placed around us to describe the goodness of God and how He's transformed us, so that other people can experience that as well.